Alright guys, so we're on part 2 of the home studio build, but before we start talking about the different sound booth options, I want to explain to you guys the difference between soundproofing and sound deadening. Now a lot of people think they're the same thing, but they're actually pretty different. Now the best way to describe soundproofing is, imagine you were in a concrete room that was completely sealed off. Now nobody's going to hear you on the inside, and you're not going to hear anybody outside of that room. But there's going to be a lot of echo and reverb bouncing off those walls. The way we eliminate that is by sound deadening. Now the way we do that is by adding materials such as carpet, blankets, padding, or any sort of foam to the walls and floors and even ceilings to cut down on that unwanted reverb and echo. With all that being said guys, let's hop into budget number 1. Okay guys, so for this one, we're going to find an open corner somewhere, just so we can kind of keep the sound in a smaller area. Alright guys, so this is budget number 1, and I wanted to keep the cost of this one as minimal as possible. In fact, if you have blankets laying around your house that nobody is using, this might actually be free for you. I spent around $18 on these blankets only to find them for $5.50 each at Walmart, and you're going to be needing 2 of them. So it's not a perfect solution guys, but if you hear how my voice sounds when I'm pointing towards the room versus how it sounds when I'm kind of in this corner, it cuts down a lot on that bouncing back and forth, the echo and the reverb that the room causes. Now again guys, it is not a perfect solution, and it can't be for $10 to $15, but this is a perfect example of sound deadening, but it's not soundproofing by any means. With all that being said guys, let's talk about budget number 2. Budget number 2, I'm going to take you through it in steps because it is a little difficult. So the first thing you guys are going to want to do is build 2 frames like these ones here, and they're going to be your left and right wall. And then you're going to want to cut 3 pieces of wood that are the exact same length, and that's going to make up the width of the booth. Now everybody's going to have different measurements, so that's why I'm not including any measurements on this build, because I'm limited to this space, but you might have a bigger space or a smaller space. Alright guys, so I'm going to get this thing assembled, and I'm going to take you in for a close-up and show you how I did everything. Alright guys, so step number 2 is done. And like I said, those 3 pieces are going to determine the overall width of the booth. And it's going to differ per person. Not everybody's going to have the same measurements or the same area that I'm working with. So right here on this piece, I decided instead of buying a whole another 8-foot piece, to just kind of butt these 2 together. It still feels very solid, very rigid. If you want to go ahead and buy another piece, then you could do it that way too. So I'm going to do step number 3 guys, and then take you in for a closer look. Alright. Okay guys, so this is budget number 2 completed, and what I did here was staple the moving blankets along the sides, and then I added an additional one to the back right here, and then I added these ceiling panels right here just to close it off even further. Now the total budget for this was around $45, but you could shave off some money just by adding blankets to the top instead of these ceiling panels. So I'm going to throw a quick blanket in the front right here to show you guys what it's going to sound like. I have a curtain that's going to be coming in the next couple days, but right now I'm just going to use the blanket to kind of simulate that. Okay guys, so I just hung up the blankets in the front, and that's going to simulate the curtains that I'm going to be adding. So basically guys, from what I can hear, I don't know how well it's picking up on the microphone, but I hear a lot less reverb and a lot less echo than if I was just speaking into the room without this booth. Now, budget number 3 is going to be the exact same thing, but I'm going to add additional paneling onto the outside to further keep the sound in and to keep it from escaping and entering back in. So I'm going to get started on that guys, and then I'll see you guys in a minute. completed, and all I've done was add these DIY insulation panels to this side here. I wasn't going to add it to the other side and even the back side, but I figured since it's going to be pushed into the corner where there's drywall, it really doesn't need it. If I have to add it later on, I will. I'm also going to be stapling this sheet along this side because this foam is kind of brittle, and I just want this sheet to kind of help protect that. If it will, we'll see. So right now I'm going to push this into the corner, guys, and then take you in for the final result. Okay guys, so this is budget number 3, semi-completed. I still have that curtain that I'm going to throw in the front. So this one came out to around $70, but I will be returning some of that DIY insulation paneling because I never used it for the right side and the back side. So right now I'm going to throw a blanket over the front and then do a quick sound test for you guys. Okay, so this is not a perfect sound test by any means because the microphone is still a little outside of the sound booth. But when I have the other microphone set up, it's going to be right here. And just by talking right here, guys, it sounds so much better. I'm not getting all that unwanted noise I was getting before. Now, for under $100, I've cut down on a lot of reverb, a lot of unwanted echo and noise that I was getting before in this room. Okay guys, so we are done, and to recap, budget number 1 was around $10 to $15, depending on where you guys get the blankets at. Budget number 2 was around $45 to $50, and budget 3 was from $60 to $70. And I'm going to tack on another $15 for my build personally because those curtains that I ordered are really thick and they're actually designed to cancel out a little bit of noise. But that's just what I'm going to do. You guys don't have to do that. Alright guys, well I really hope you enjoyed that video. In part 3 I will show you guys how it sounds with a microphone in there and just do some audio tests for you guys. Well, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.